I tune into First Take, and there's a topic involving Maverick Carter being an advisor to a group of investors that are trying to start their own international basketball league that is supposed to apparently rival the NBA. And as I'm listening, I'm thinking, okay, they say that LeBron James is not involved. That was the catalyst that turned what I thought would be a simple discussion into a riveting debate about LeBron James rubbing shoulders the wrong way with people that made it a detriment to him trying to get team ownership right now or when he ends up retiring. And that was really spearheaded by Stephen A. Smith, who was really trying to get Brian Windhorst to admit what he thought was the unspoken truth in all of this. Brian Windhorst, on the other hand, was focused on the financial aspect, how that may play a role in LeBron James not getting a team, even though we know he has a lot of money. This was really like a 25-minute conversation. There was a lot said. You'll hear more details, and I'll try to play mostly what I can and then react. All right, here we go.
Respectful. Nobody, and I mean nobody on the planet, wants to hear that something doesn't involve LeBron James when Maverick Carter is doing that. I mean, it's one of the most asinine things that somebody could put out there. Nobody believes that. I haven't spoken to anybody about this yet. But when I saw this story, the first thing that jumped to my mind was LeBron James recognizes he won't ultimately become an owner of an NBA franchise, or he wants the NBA to think about what he can do if they don't acquiesce and ultimately let him become the owner of an NBA franchise down the line. He needs additional investors and all of that stuff. We all know that LeBron James can come up with the money. He can come up with investors. Plenty of investors that would love to connect with LeBron James, especially to own an NBA franchise. But they still have to let you in.
For context, in the clip you just heard, Stephen A. Smith was talking about LeBron's specific interest in bringing an NBA team to Las Vegas. I have an article here which is from December 2023, which states Redbird Capital Partners and Fenway Sports Group have teamed up with Lakers star to deliver an expansion team. Basketball icon LeBron James is working with Redbird Capital Partners and Fenway Sports Group to bring a National Basketball Association franchise to Las Vegas. This aligns with the point that Stephen A. was making. He could absolutely, LeBron James, get the money. There's no way that he can't find investors given who he is and the money that he makes himself. Where the conversation ended up turning, which you will hear soon in other clips, is the part where he said they still have to let you in. You see, in order to buy an NBA team, it's not just the money. You have to get 23 out of 30 votes from the owners to accept you in purchasing the team in the first place. And just to show how powerful this whole selection process is, it works in reverse as well. They could vote you out. For example, when Donald Sterling, the former owner of the Los Angeles Clippers, he got into that whole scandal with the racist remarks being revealed on audio, they were going to vote him out. The only reason why it didn't get to the voting process is because his wife ended up taking control of the team and then she sold it to Steve Ballmer.
The flagrant, lackadaisical effort they put forth during All-Star Weekend. LeBron James, way before all of that, deciding to take his talents to South Beach from Cleveland. And Dan Gilbert, the owner for the Cavaliers, had to find out watching the news, just like everybody else, or watching him with Jim Gray, just like everybody else. Those kind of things are the kind of, along with that player empowerment movement that LeBron has instigated, which people like myself clearly applaud him for. Those kind of things, the flagrant manner in which he has done it, that has served to turn owners off, which you know all too well, Wendy.
There is no league that is going to exist that is going to rival the NBA. That is an interesting headline. It's an interesting ambition. The NBA just signed an 11-year, $76 billion media rights deal. The most valuable thing in all of sports, I would argue, but I won't even focus on the other sports I don't know, like the NFL or baseball. The most valuable thing in the NBA is equity in teams. You can talk about players. Ultimately, at the end of the day, they come and go. The most tangible thing that the NBA guards the most is the equity in teams.
Allow me to remind y'all how mad Dan Gilbert was at the time, all right? This is some of the letter for those who may not remember. Dear Cleveland, all of Northeast Ohio, and Cleveland Cavaliers supporters, wherever you may be tonight, as you now know, our former hero who grew up in the very region that he deserted this evening is no longer a Cleveland Cavalier. This was announced with a several-day narcissistic, self-promotional buildup, culminating with a national TV special of his decision, unlike anything ever witnessed in the history of sports and probably the history of entertainment. clearly, this is bitterly disappointing to all of us. The good news is that the ownership team and the rest of the hardworking, loyal, and driven staff over here at your hometown Cavaliers have not betrayed you, nor never will betray you. All right, then the letter goes on to say that he promises that guarantees that they will win a championship before LeBron James does. That didn't happen. LeBron won in Miami, then he came back to Cleveland and won. So, of course, if there's still owners who are holding a grudge against LeBron James in the way that they feel Dan Gilbert was treated, it will work against them. And then, yes, the player empowerment part, that could rub owners the wrong way, the feeling that, oh, the players are taking control and we're losing the power that we have. The people that we're supposed to be in charge of are now trying to get up in position. But to touch on Brian Windhorst's point very quickly about the NBA being a protective league and it not having any other leagues that will rival it, and this could be a separate connection or connect back to what I just said, depending on how you look at it. This kind of reminds me of what Ice Cube was alluding to or saying directly about the NBA not wanting to see his league prosper since he didn't want to break bread or sit at the table with them, however you want to phrase it. But let's continue with the original topic.
You heard what the hell I said. In terms of LeBron alienating owners because of a variety of things that he was willing to do throughout his career, what level of credence do you give to the potential of that?
But I'm saying it doesn't even matter whether they like him or not. They just don't. They're not giving anybody anything when it comes to.
Well, I disagree with you on that part. Michael Jordan ultimately comes in. Why? Because David Stern was there to help him. Who's interested in helping LeBron James?
And so, if your point is that LeBron would not get the same courtesy, I believe that's
my
true.
point.
But with an asterisk. These teams are not selling for less.
Why would these owners make it difficult for a Michael Jordan or not want to help a LeBron James to become an owner when they've done so much for the game?
Well, help is a relative term.
That's right.
As far as, nobody's giving anybody a discount on something that's worth $7 billion that multiple people are bidding on.
Wendy is not wrong, Molly.
Yeah.
But respectfully, he's not getting to what your real question is. Why would they not receive the report? Because it's a good old boys club at the end of the day.
Ultimately, that was the discussion, the debate between Brian Windhorst and Stephen A. Stephen A kept focusing on there's personal reasons, deep-seated reasons why LeBron James will not be able to get a team. Brian Windhorst is basically saying, it's not that deep. It's just that there's financial issues LeBron may encounter and other people may not be willing to help him financially or even give him a discount on the team, even if he could get the help, period. So what side of this do you guys lean on? Are you with Stephen A, is more personal reasons, or are you with Brian Windhorst? You think there's more of a financial problem that he may run into to actually buy a team? Despite how rich he is, this is very expensive, right? Multiple billion-dollar industry. For me, I lean towards Stephen A. I think LeBron could eventually get the money or he could work something out. I don't see that being a problem at all. But I do see maybe 8-9 owners who say, we don't want LeBron James as an owner. We don't think that's good for business. Whatever case that they have, I could see that happening because, again, they need 23. LeBron would need 23 out of 30 votes to get that ownership approved. Let me know in the comment section how you're seeing this. All right. And as always, salute for listening. Peace.